All right, so here we're going over our 1017 Tuesday stuff. Again, if you're watching this because you're stuck on one, please just get unstuck on the one you're on. Make sure you put in the best effort you can on your own, and then use this to help you out. But then also recognize if you still don't understand, so make sure you come to target time or get in touch with me for some other time to figure it out. All right, so number one says the weatherman predicted the weather correctly 11 out of 20 days. What percentage of the time was he correct? Okay, so you could either write correct over total or part over whole. I want to see one version of the wording. So we'll put part over whole here. He was correct 11 out of 20 days. So we're looking for the ratio out of 100 because that's what a percent is. So that's times 5, 20 times 5. Do the same on the top you did on the bottom, and that's 55 out of 100, which equals 55% correct. So he was correct 55% of the time. Labeling your answer like that will help you in case you get an answer that is unreasonable, you'll recognize it. All right, the grades of 5 students on Mr. Carter's math test were 85, 92, 93, 77, and 91. So if A is 90 or above, what percentage made an A? All right, so here what we're looking at is you can't let these numbers confuse you. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we look at part to whole here, or A's out of total. Well, the whole here was 5 tests. So we're looking at how many of them were A's. Well, not that one, not that one, but this one, this one, and this one. So that's 3 A's out of 5 total. We're looking for the percent. Percent is the ratio out of 100. 5 times 20 is 100. Do the same on the top that you did on the bottom. And therefore you have 60% made an A. Let's put little quotation marks there. All right. Next one, water covers approximately 75% of Earth's surface. What fraction is the same as 75%? So you could put part over whole. I'm gonna put water over total here. Okay, so 75% is gonna be percents. Remember our ratio out of 100. So now we're just trying to reduce it. So we're going the other direction here. So what do we divide by? Well, factor of 75 and 100. Could go with 5, but the better one, the greatest common factor will be 25. So it's going to leave us with 3/4 is covered with water. Number 4, 20 out of 25 students had their no red ink assignment complete for Mr. Harris's class. What percent had the assignment complete? So we could put part out of whole, or we could put complete out of total or out of all the students. So 20 out of 25, and we're looking for the percent. So 25 times 4 is 100. 20 times 4 is 80. So that's 80% were complete. All right. And tomorrow we're going to work, our next lesson is actually going to be working on finding the other part, meaning the not complete. Okay, LeBron made 9 out of 25 shots. What percent of shots did he make? Okay, so we got the makes out of the total. So he made 9 out of 25. We're looking for percent, which is a ratio out of 100. Times 4. Do the same on the top you did on the bottom. And you will see that he had 30%, 36% made. All right, next one. 84% of students prefer 4-day school weeks. What fraction of students prefer the 4-day school week? So you have 84%. So we're looking for the part out of the whole, or the percent that do want the 4-day week out of the total. So 84 out of 100. the common factor here, you could go with 2, but then you'll have to reduce again. That's okay. So if you went with 2, you would have got 42 out of 50 first. That's not a problem. You just have to divide by 2 again. So you could actually divide by 4 here. 84 divided by 4 is 21, and 100 divided by 4 is 25. All right, in an election for class president, Jane won 37% of the vote. What fraction of the vote did she win? So here we have 1, what she won out of the total, and percent is out of 100, and 37 is prime, and it doesn't go into 100. So that's the answer. All right, now let's go with here's the somewhat more challenging ones. All right, in the last Harry Potter book, Hermione's a loyal friend 49/50ths of the time, but Ron is only loyal 3/5 of the time. What percent of the time is Hermione a loyal friend? So we have the loyal out of the total here. I'm actually okay with that as long as it's real clear what the letters go with. So this is 49 out of 50. We're looking for her percent, which is out of 100. Okay, 49 times 2 is 98. So she is loyal 98% of the time. Ron, on the other hand, is only loyal 3/5 of the time. So put that out of 100. 5 times 20 is 100. Same on the top as it is on the bottom. So that's going to be 60%. All right, now, what fraction and percent show how much more of the time she is a loyal friend? So how much more is a subtraction question. So if Chloe ran 5 miles on Monday and 2 miles on Tuesday, and I said, how much more did she run on Monday? You would do 5 minus 2 is 3. So here we're subtracting. So the percent, I would actually probably do this by just subtracting the percents. 98% minus 60% is 38%. So Hermione is 38% more loyal. Now, what do we do for fraction? Well, we take 38, we put it over 100, and then we see if we can simplify it. Well, those are both even, so 2 will go into both of them. That's going to be 19 out of 50. Okay. Next, out of 80 Slytherins, Harry Potter guesses that 72 of them will end up following you-know-who. What percent does he think will follow you-know-who? So we're going to write the ratio first, then reduce, then we'll be able to find the percent. Okay, so I'm just going to put apart a whole here. And the ratio we are given is 72 out of 80. Okay, now, this is one's a little more challenging. So we should always ask ourselves, can we reduce or simplify? Here we can. Okay, so we could do a number of things here. I'm actually going to just do it by 8. All right, because yes, you could actually do it by, let's see, what do we got there? Maybe 8 is the biggest one, but that is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do by 8. So 72 divided by 8 is 9, and 80 divided by 8 is 10. So 9/10. Now we're looking for the percent that Harry thinks is going to follow Voldemort. So 10 times 10 is 100. 9 times 10 is 90. Therefore, we know that the answer is 90% that will follow you-know-who. So notice here that we reduced our ratio down to something that had a denominator that was a factor of 100, right, that goes into 100, then we could get to 100. There's another way of doing these when you can't get to a number that goes into 100. That's really more of one, for the most part, that comes in 7th grade. There's a couple of little exceptions I need to teach you. All right, number 10, Abigail, Sabian, and Jacob planted a vegetable and flower garden and sold the produce out of the garden. They agreed to share the profits as follows. Abigail received 2/5, Sabian 1/4, and Jacob received what's left. What percent of the profits did Jacob receive? So we could add up Abigail's 2/5, Sabian's 1/4, and then Jacob got the rest. Or we could make them both percent and take away from 100. I'm actually going to show it both ways. You only need to show it one of the ways. Okay, so this is the way we've done it before. 2/5 plus 1/4. Okay, so here we're finding a common denominator. Really, the only difference now is we're going to do it with percents out of 100, but we've done it before this year where we did it like this. The LCM of 5 and 4 is 20 times 4 times 4. It's going to be 8 times 5 times 5, 5. So it's 13/20ths. Right? Then, okay, if we're talking that he got the rest of it, well, the whole thing would have 20/20ths, right? One whole is 20/20ths. So if we take away the part that the other two guys get, we already have a common denominator. So we would see that he would get 7/20ths. However, I want a percent, and a percent is out of 100. So we would do times 5, and we would get 35%. Now, if you will notice back over here, had we done this like, okay, let's go ahead and make this a percent instead, then the only difference to this problem would be here that instead of putting it over the least common denominator, right, which would have been 20, we're going to put them both over 100. So that's times 25. All right, and then times 20, so it's 40 plus 20 is 65 out of 100, or 65%, right? And there's 100% total minus 65 that the other guys have, which leaves with 35% for Jacob. So that's the same either way. So you could have gone at that problem either direction. All right, just either you could have found the common denominator, added, took away from the whole, or you could have said, okay, well, I'll find the percents of both of them, and I know there's 100% total, so I'll take that away. So again, right, we're just looking for the missing part there. All right, so make sure you have those done and turn your work in on Canvas.